I kind of wrestled with those thoughts for a few miles as I was chugging along, and then began to realise these are the thoughts of the tempter, the enemy.
And I'm like, oh my word, what are we going to do? We can't pay the staff.
In the early days at Eternal Wall, we frequently ran into operational challenges. We consistently prayed for God's provision. This is an incredible story of answered prayer when we needed a financial miracle to pay the team.
My name's Matthew Gregory. So I got connected with the Eternal Wall after attending a conference in Harrogate which Richard Gamble spoke at, and I immediately felt an affinity with the project. I submitted an answered prayer and also became a regular donor. Part of the reason for that is that I've become increasingly convinced about the importance of testimony, or people's stories of experiencing God moving in their lives.
So it's the start of the month and we're in a pretty dire situation. We don't have enough money to pay the staff. And we've got 4 weeks to resolve this. I said to my right-hand man, Dave, you need to raise the money. And then we got to the end of the month. I'm like, right, come on, how are we getting on? And it's like, yeah, still not got anything. And I'm like, oh my word, what are we going to do? We can't pay the staff.
As a keen cyclist, I would regularly go out on a Sunday morning. It was a really nice day, weather-wise, pretty much clear skies, nice and sunny. I remember cycling up this single track, really hilly road and just praying about a number of things. And I began to get this quite clear sense from the Holy Spirit that I needed to give some money to the Eternal Wall project.
So I say to Dave, how are we doing? And he's like, yeah, still not raised any money. And I'm like, what are we going to do? And what really blessed me was him and Phil were full of faith and said, you know what, we've got the whole weekend to pray. God can answer the prayer over the weekend.
So the amount I felt Holy Spirit impressing upon me really clearly was £7,000. And at the time, my business wasn't doing particularly well. It pretty much cleared me out of accessible cash. But I felt convinced this was Holy Spirit and I wanted to be obedient.
And so we agreed to have a phone call first thing Monday morning, just hours before we were going to pay the staff, to work out what we were going to do. That was the absolute drop-down date. I
felt this very clear impression from the Holy Spirit that I should make the donation before the working day started on Monday. So I literally stopped my bike, pulled my phone out and made a diary note for 7 o'clock Monday morning to make this donation. Something interesting happened as soon as I'd made that entry into my calendar to make that donation, which was I started getting all these thoughts about how much effort I'd had to spend in my business to generate that amount of profit to be able to make that donation. I kind of wrestled with those thoughts for a few miles as I was chugging along, and then began to realise these are the thoughts of the tempter, the enemy, and kind of set my heart to make that donation, and the thoughts went away. And the following morning I got up, ping calendar reminder, went onto my computer and made the donation, and felt pleased that I'd been obedient to what I'd felt was a very clear sense of the Holy Spirit impressing something upon me.
I go on to this call on Monday morning thinking that we've got to go to plan B, and these guys like beaming faces, beaming smiles, basically saying, you are not going to believe this, but the money has just dropped into our bank account.
And I found it really exhilarating to be part of God's plan, just kind of deeply satisfying. And one of my learnings from this that I've taken since is whenever I feel the Holy Spirit impressing upon me to give, I generally act very quickly, in fact as quickly as I can, because I know how easy it is to talk myself out of it.
God used somebody who had no idea of the need, that not only did it pay for everybody that month, but it gave us such a boost because we knew God was on the case.
If you're thinking of supporting the Eternal Wall and you feel the Holy Spirit prompting you, I would encourage you to follow those promptings. This is a phenomenal project, and the opportunity to be part of it is a tremendous honour.